Okay, we're going to call to order the Borough of Morrisville Borough Council meeting for Tuesday, March 15th, 2022. We're going to have a moment of silence for Ukraine and the Ukrainian people and all those that have been lost and continue to perish every day as a result of a senseless war. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I have a roll call, please?
Yes. Mr. Anderson?
Here.
Ms. Engelhardt?
Here.
Mr. Long?
Here.
Mr. Coogan?
Here.
Mr. Parker?
Here.
Mr. Paul?
Here.
Mr. Robinson?
Here.
And Mrs. Sherlock?
Here.
And our borough solicitor?
Yes, Scott Holbert on behalf of Flagrant Associates.
Thank you, Scott. Great, thank you.
What a surprise. Okay, thank you. We have no announcements or presentations for tonight, so we're going to move into public comment. First person up is Donna Wilson. Please state your name and address, and then you'll have 3 minutes.
Donna Wilson, 24 East Post Road. I should have been here in January. Things have happened in my family that kind of held me from that, but I wanted to make sure I got here to talk about the Winterfest Parade from last year. The Morrisville Winterfest Parade Committee would like to thank Steve Bivens of Hot Rides for sponsoring our parade again this year. He's the person who brings the money together so that we can pay our police department to keep everybody that's in our parade protected. He stopped. Chief McClay has all the corners locked off and makes sure that we're all safe. And then thank you to the Morrisville Police Department as well as the Morrisville Fire Company who lead our parade and keep us safe. We want to congratulate Holy Trinity Church for winning the float competition and the $150 prize. The groups that entered the float competition were Solid Rock Youth Center, Compass Fellowship Baptist Church, Pitch and Kitten Brewery, and Kathy Pasita and the Flakes. We had several car clubs who joined us this year, including British Car Club of Bucks County and Misled Car Club. Suzanne of the Italian Bee was kind enough to provide the transportation for our Winterfest court. Our court was, as you guys know, because most of you were here, Little Miss Winterfest was Melania and Noel Simmers, Junior Miss Winterfest was Sophie Loeffler, Miss Winterfest was Zoe Williams, and Junior Mr. Winterfest was Jason Zalanka. As always, the Morrisville High School Marching Band, under the direction of Eric Norris, impressed us with their skills. Also joining the parade were PA State Representative Perry Warren, District Justice, Corinne Chronicle, ex-Mayor Rivella, new Mayor-elect Brett Anderson at the time, and Miss Pennsylvania, Eva Kastner. Erica Foraker of Keller Williams Real Estate did something new for us this year. She was at our lineup. She brought hot chocolate and coffee to the parade participants. Everybody kept warm, and it was really a really nice addition to have it, and we do appreciate it. I want to thank everyone that participated in the parade this year. You make the difference. A special thank you goes out to Brud and Jill Anderson for providing the Mummer All-Stars to march in the parade. Also, ex-councilman, I think, Justin Bowers, who made a very nice donation to the parade as well. Of course, we can't forget Santa for taking his time out of his busy schedule to participate in the parade. Mayor Anderson has offered his assistance with this year's parade that's going to be Saturday, December 3rd at 10 o'clock. And he and I are going to work together. I know he's got a lot of contacts. I know we're going to grow our parade. We're going to make it even better because we have to top what Chief McClay said. He said it was the best parade he has watched this year so far. So The Winterfest Parade is always a great way to welcome the holidays to our town. The smiles on the faces of the children that line the streets are wonderful to see. So I truly enjoyed putting the 2021 parade together, and I'm really looking forward
3
to
minutes.
next year's parade. Thank you.
Shouldn't give him more time than that.
All right, Mary Horrenda. Name and address, and then your 3 minute starts. I just want to clarify that public comment is for stakeholders and residents. There are a few addresses that are outside the confines of the borough, but considering that it's not a large number of speakers tonight, I will allow them. Normally, we will either hold them to the end if it doesn't exceed the allotted time, but we'll allow those. I believe there's 2 people and somebody from Little League who want to speak tonight. So, I'm sorry, Ms. Horrenda, go ahead.
Mary Grenda, 343 Crown Street. I'm going to comment on Williamson Park. Mr. Flager has stated that the Morrisville Borough Council cannot vote to preserve Williamson Park as a park. However, Morrisville Borough Council can vote to preserve Williamson Park. There is no law that prohibits such a vote. Throughout the county and the Commonwealth, local governments have preserved land as open space. Title 32, Pennsylvania Statute, Section 5005C1, empowers local governments to acquire land for enjoyment as a public park and for limiting the park to such use. Section 5001 discusses the importance of open space. The Department of Conservation and Natural Resources has multiple information resources on how to protect and preserve parkland for public enjoyment, and we are simply encouraging the borough to do what so many local governments have done throughout this county, and that is to preserve Williamson Park as a public park for our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Eva Kastner Pushell. Name and address and then 3 minutes. And I apologize if I butchered your name.
You're fine. Good evening, Council. My name is Eva Kastner-Puschel, 85 Central Avenue, here in Morrisville, in this beautiful town. I would like to continue what Mr. Renda had started. So Mr. Flager has also stated that Morrisville Borough does not own the development rights to this property in Williamson Park, and that the borough does not have the legal interest nor authority to bind the land's use after the expiration of the lease agreement. However, the deed of trust gave about 11 acres of parkland to the First Presbyterian Church, the Methodist Episcopal Church, now the Turning Point Methodist Church, and First Baptist Church, all located in Trenton. The deed of trust requires that the land must always be used as a park and that the churches are trustees of their land. Far from binding the church's use of their parkland, Council's vote to preserve Williamson Park would make it consistent with the church's land and ensure that Williamson Park is preserved as required by the Donated and Dedicated Property Act and open for all to enjoy as a park. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ina Tenzillo. Name and address, and then you have 3 minutes.
Dina Tanzillo, 136 North Pennsylvania Avenue. I'm going to continue. Mr. Flager has also stated that the Select Morrisville LLC, as was previously
Excuse me, Dina. Can you get a little closer to the mic? I have the vent up here. I can hardly hear with the air.
was previously constituted will cease to exist in the near future. Since Council no longer expects Select Morrisville to move forward with their project, what is the purpose of last month's motion, 8G? To say Morrisville Borough Council has withdrawn its support for the proposed development project involving Williamson Park is a meaningless statement, since supposedly support is being withdrawn for a project that does not exist. Council has not said that they will save Williamson Park, because the door is left wide open to any other developer, even Select Morrisville, to submit a slightly altered development proposal. The statement that this motion has effectively overturned its prior motion made in December of 2020 is disingenuous because it does not overturn that motion. Motion 9J from December 2020 is still in effect. Therefore, the RDA can find another developer. To save Williamson Park, it is necessary that Council undo the actions that the RDA believes would permit the development of Williamson Park. Stating that the Council does not support Morrisville Select's project that they reportedly gave up on is inadequate. Do not tell us what you do not support. Please show us what you will do to save the park. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Elizabeth Lesner Vidala.
Hi, thanks so much for letting me speak. I'm Elizabeth Lester Abdallah. I live at 1328 Polo Run Drive. And I know it's been said many times at the council meetings that the continued inclusion of Williamson Park in the certified redevelopment area is a benefit to Morrisville Borough and Williamson Park because it will open additional opportunities for the borough to seek grant funding through the Community Development Block Grant Program for park beautification projects and improvements to park amenities. But this is not true. The RDA's certified redevelopment area does not provide the borough or the RDA any additional opportunities for the borough to seek grant funding. The Community Development Block Grant monies were used in the past for the tot lot equipment in Williamson Park well before a redevelopment area was even considered back in 2018. Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resource grants, where the bulk of park improvement funds would be secured, are scored and do not use RDA redevelopment areas as a criterion. This has been confirmed by the DCNR. The RDA has not provided grants designed to improve public parklands, which is also confirmed by the RDA at Planning Commission meeting presentation on October 11, 2021. The PA EDC grant, the Greenways, Parks and Trails, was obtained for Patriots Park, which is not in an RDA redevelopment area. Park improvement grants will view a preserved park favorably, knowing that money is not wasted on projects that will be discarded if commercial development beckons. Land that is set up for commercial development will be at a severe disadvantage for improvement funds. Therefore, the RDA is not necessary to secure additional funding for Williamson Park and should be removed from the park. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Deb Freeman, name and address, and then you have 3 minutes.
I'm Deb Freeman, and I live at 751 Gordon Drive, and I appreciate you allowing me to speak. Okay. Continuing, Mr. Flager has stated that the borough's actions were purely the result of legislative decisions and that the Orphans Court does not have the authority to overrule a purely legislative policy decision. Mr. Flager has also stated that under the Urban Redevelopment Law, the RDA does not have the power to take property in the borough for private development without the borough's approval. However, the borough does not have the authority to nullify the authority of the Orphans Court by designating the park as a certified redevelopment area. The borough's actions in doing so were not strictly legislative policy decisions. They were actions that seek to bypass the DDPA. Orphans Court is where that decision must be made. The decisions to invite the RDA to assist the submission of Select Morrisville's development plan and to expand the borough's certified redevelopment area using the RDA's blight report is a premeditated plan developed by Select Morrisville and the RDA to provide ownership interest of Williamson Park by the RDA. Select Morrisville needed the RDA to have ownership interest so the RDA could submit Select Morrisville's development plan application to the Borough Planning Commission. This premeditated plan was told to council by Select Morrisville's attorney, John Van Leuveney, at council's November 16, 2020 meeting when he stated how Select Morrisville intended to acquire land. At this meeting, Mr. Van Leuveney stated, and I quote, "We also need to talk to council about having properties that are owned by the borough transferred for purposes of the incorporation into this project into the redevelopment authority. Theoretically, I cannot make application for a land development plan approval unless I have an ownership interest, or in this case, it will probably ultimately be the RDA making the application." Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Don Rice. Name and address, and then you have 3 minutes.
I have a point of order before I start my comment. The Sunshine Law requires that the executive session, you must give the public an idea of what was the subject of the executive session. There was no comment made whatsoever after or when you came in from the executive session.
Let's just make it. Yeah.
It's on the agenda.
Yeah, well, I'll give you a couple. Yeah, that was our fault. We'll be announcing it after. Well, your time, and then we'll.
Oh, it's actually on the agenda.
It is in part on the agenda, but you
Yes.
have to announce it.
We will. It was our fault. It was an oversight from the announcement section. Have your public comment, and we'll do it after.
Acceptable. Fine. Thank you. To continue. After Mr. Van Leuven's presentation, Council then voted December 20th, 2020 to allow the RDA to assist Select Morrisville's application, with the result being the blight report. The Council voted on November 30th, 2021 to approve the blight report and extended Morrisville's certified redevelopment area, gave the extension of the certified redevelopment area, gave the RDA ownership interest in Williamson Park. They now today have ownership interest in Williamson Park. The RDA does not own Williamson Park, but they do have ownership interest. The difference is important. Consequently, the urban redevelopment law allows the RDA to transfer the park to a developer after approval of a development plan application. RDA ownership of the park is not an issue. RDA's ownership interest in the park, used to transfer park property to a developer, is the issue. Save Williamson Park cannot allow the RDA to maintain their ownership interest in the park. That's an invitation to develop the park. Mr. Flager has also stated that, quote, we cannot recommend, nor does our client, the borough, believe it is appropriate to agree to settlement terms if those terms cannot be awarded as relief by the Orphans Court, sitting in an equity jurisdiction pursuant to the donated and dedicated property. These terms do not concern the alienation of public property, so they are not an issue before the court. Council members, we're not asking you to be a surrogate for the Orphans Court. We are asking you to uphold the law and do the right thing. There are conflicting legal opinions on the borough's responsibility in preserving the park. The borough would be wise to seek a special counsel for this issue. In addition, our attorney, Samuel Stratton, has offered to speak with counsel publicly or in executive session. Thank you.
Thank you. Deborah Colgan. Name and address, and then 3 minutes.
Deborah Colgan, 120 West Hendrickson Avenue. To finish what several have said before me, finally, Mr. Flager has stated that he expects the legal action to cease now that Morrisville Borough Council has withdrawn all support for Select Morrisville's proposed development. However, Save Williamson Park will discontinue action when Borough Council has done what the residents of Morrisville have told them what they want done. Save the park, rescind the motion 9J, and rescind the motion to expand their certified redevelopment area to remove the unblighted park from the certified redevelopment area. Please, we do not want to go to court. Ask your solicitor, what is the law that prevents you from passing a resolution to recognize that Williamson Park is donated and dedicated, is an actively used park, and is therefore covered by the Donated and Dedicated Property Act? Ask your solicitor why an approval of the RDA's self-serving blight report and inclusion of Williamson Park in the expanded redevelopment area cannot be overturned by a council that supports saving Williamson Park. Save our park, and we promise to help you make it a better park. And to that end, the borough is receiving a total of $842,000 from the American Rescue Plan, and it currently has $400,000 that it can use right now. That is not money to be used for cleaning up past budget mistakes or considered as reliable income. It is once in a blue moon money that needs to be used for addressing the negative impacts of the past 2 years. Our parks have suffered through the years, and definitely the parks were hit hard by the pandemic. We never had much money, but the park maintenance has always been the item for the first and the deepest cuts. But parks and our other open environmental resources are vital infrastructure. Without quality open space, we will continue to stagnate. Parks are the venues for a wide variety of activities that make a vibrant town. History, arts, culture, entertainment, and nature are experienced in these settings. So are sports, community gatherings, and just hanging around in a green space. We have an incredible opportunity in Morrisville right now. We have match money in the bank. Surely we can spend a small fraction of this windfall on matches for grants to transform our town. The final rule has been issued, and it is clear that park improvement is an eligible category. DCNR, which would be a major source of grants, is encouraging municipalities to use American Rescue Plan dollars for park improvements. Don't keep waiting for a developer to save Morrisville. Let's start with what we own and create an inviting and interesting community. We have the means to start, so let's get on with it.
3
I
minutes.
look forward to it.
Consuelo, I can't, sorry.
That's okay. Consuelo del Palacio, 139 Delaware Avenue, and I'm here to talk about the Earth Day celebration. So good evening, everyone. I'm here to talk about the Earth Day celebration that we organized for the past 5 years. Let me give you a little bit of context about this event. April 22nd is International Earth Day. This year marks the 52nd anniversary of Earth Day, and millions of people are mobilized for environment, from grassroots voices to leaders, to the world's attention is on the fight for the Earth on Earth Day. Today, Earth Day is widely recognized as the largest secular observance in the world, marked by more than a billion people every year as a day of action to change human behavior, to create global, national, and local policy changes. Calpulitlalhuitzili, or Hummingbirds of the Earth dance crew, has been celebrating Earth Day in Morrisville since 2017 by honoring Mother Earth with a Mexica dance circle full of dancing, drumming, offerings, prayers, and planting a tree at the park, at the open space area. We are a non-profit organization or group committed to continue our ancestors' legacy of honoring nature. We are a group of Native American Mexican dancers living and dancing in Morrisville, Pennsylvania, and we like sharing these teachings and events with our community here in Morrisville. We meant for this event to be open to the public. Anyone can come and watch. Anyone can come and even enter the circle if they want to, with respect and asking permission from the people that are leading the circle. Back in 2017, we approached the MEAC and we asked if we could plant a tree and celebrate Earth Day. And we have been doing those ever since. We approached the MEAC to make sure that we planted the right tree in the right place and that we knew how to take care of it. We are committed to continue to donate and planting these trees every year, if you guys permit it to us. Earth Day celebration in Morrisville this year will be on Saturday. It's always on the closest Saturday to Earth Day. So this year on the 2022, the celebration will be April 23rd. I am here because for the first time we faced fees and insurance requirements that to be able to organize this event at the open space area located at the corner of Delmore Avenue and Philadelphia Avenue. As I said above, we are a non-profit group and we do not have the funds to cover those costs. We already have expenses since we're hosting the dancers that join on that day, so we provide food, water, and in some cases accommodations. So what I'm asking here is for those fees to help with those fees and so we can continue this public event for Morrisville. Thank you.
I have two questions real quick. Is this the same group that performs at the Labor Day picnic?
We've done Labor Day. We've done also National Night Out. So we're
Okay.
open to continue working in Morrisville to just showcase
Now,
what we do. Yeah.
It's one of the action items tonight, but probably the most important thing on it is missing from the action item. What time does it start?
Starts at 10 a.m.
10 a.m.?
11 a.m., let's say.
11 a.m.?
11 a.m. Yeah,
Okay.
We always sit till 10 a.m., but we really start at 11.
Okay. And just a comment, if anyone hasn't seen them perform, you be there at 11 o'clock and check it out. They are fantastic. They really are.
We go for about 3 hours, 4 hours, sometimes even 5. So we're there for a while. Thank you.
Thank you. Jim O'Brien?
Thank you. Before I begin, if I could request, could we have a second moment of silence? Our Morrisville family lost 2 members, 2 parents of some current players this past week. One whose son actually stood here earlier last year in defense of Williamson Park and Morrisville Little League. And if I could request just a second, I'd appreciate that.
All right, we can do that. I don't think so.
Thank you, Council. I come before you tonight to address 3 things. One, I want to just clarify a few facts that are being confused out in the public sphere. Second, to reiterate my commitment to Morrisville and to this community and our league's commitment to this community. And third, to request your approval for our parade and opening day events on April 2nd. First, in clarifying, I became president of Morrisville Little League in October 2019. My intention at that point was to focus on improving baseball and softball for all the kids in the community. It has been anything but. We were met with COVID in March of 2020. We were forced to first delay our season. I communicated very regularly with Borough Council and the Borough Manager at that time, Scott Mitchell, giving status updates throughout. During those conversations, we discussed the possibility of eliminating or reducing the fees based on what season we would end up having. And again, regular communication all the way through. In later that year, we were able to have a season. It was an abbreviated season, but a successful one. The families that were able to get out, it was many of them the first time they had a chance to get outside after COVID isolation. And so it was really well received. And thank you for your support in getting that up and running. Later that year in September, I spoke with Scott again. We agreed on having elimination of fees in 2020 for that year, and then we were going to work in the following year with revisions to the MOU to make sure we put that into writing. The October 2020, in October 2020, we were asked to fill out some paperwork that we needed that was due. I can say that I was preparing to pull that stuff together when the announcement of the development came forward. And that turned our attention very much clearly to the development and the possibility of Morrisville Little League being bulldozed and our concerns about that. Going to continue to stay in contact with Scott until his tragic passing in February of that year. Continue to stay in touch with council. In May of 2021, President Parker established a committee of 3 to work with me and my board members to reestablish the MOU and to define our terms going forward. Again, all in the effort to try to make sure we were working together in a productive way, partnership. Those conversations went well. In August, we received a proposal from the borough with revisions. In October of that year, we responded back with revisions, and we're negotiating that through. At that point, I had offered to make a good faith payment to the borough of $3,500 for the 2021 fees, just to make sure that they knew we were not trying to skip out on our responsibilities. We wanted to be a part of this community and pay our due as needed. In this February, this past year, or in the interim, the council, I was advised to wait until the next elected officials were seated before picking up the MOU negotiations again. I honored that request, and in February this year, I reached out again in an effort to try to finalize the negotiations of that. I've been directed to work with Borough Manager Judith Danko. I appreciate all your responsiveness and your communications thus far. It's been very helpful. Again, I'm here tonight to focus on making sure that we show our commitment to the community, that we demonstrate that we're going to live up to our responsibilities, and we're just simply asking to be good participants, good stewards of the league as we can. Lastly, I mentioned April 2nd is our opening day, and we would love your approval for our parade. It's the first time in the last 2 years we've been able to do a parade because of COVID. The kids are really excited about it. We'd love to see them get back out there. This is the first time we're able to get to a fully normal season. I'm very optimistic about it, and a return to normalcy is something that this community needs more than anything. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate your consideration.
Thank you.
You want me to do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now that public comment's over, prior to tonight's meeting at 6 p.m., Morrisville Borough Council met in executive session to discuss issues involving police personnel, police union contract negotiations, and 2 grievances filed by the Morrisville Borough Police Association. You'll see on the agenda it also discusses litigation. We did not talk about anything involved in litigation as we did not have time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, we're going to move on to 5, which is approval of the minutes. 5A, approval of the minutes for the Borough Council regular meeting of February 15th, 2022. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, hearing none.
Was that Andrew or Scott?
I don't
I wonder
know.
who the second was. Andrew. Thanks.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Moving on to 6, finance. Everyone got the treasurer's report. We'll move on to 6B, which is a call for a motion to approve the bill list. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion?
Just a couple questions, Mr. Parker.
Okay.
There was a flag, John could probably answer this, the Flyer Force, we have them out, I think, on North Pennsylvania Avenue, and it was a $2,500 fee. Is that reimbursable?
We are currently using Flagger Force to flag, flag for the Public Works Department when there's a water leak, especially when there is a leak on a very, very busy road. It's imperative that we have safety for the employees. So this is a true cost.
Okay, thank you. Also, the janitor, I just want to take this opportunity, we have the janitorial management company that also cleans the library. We do have a primary coming up in May, but even before the primary, I think the floor in the basement of the library really needs some assistance. I don't know if it's part of their task, but if you could look into that. I mean.
So I don't believe it is a part of their task, but I'll ask to look into it.
You probably should have somebody clean it then, right?
The floor of the in the basement?
The basement is kind of messy, yeah.
Okay, we'll look into it, thank you.
And then another one, this is Armour and Sons, Trenton Delmore Calhoun Bridge. I guess the light was taken out. I'm just wondering, is this reimbursable? It's $5,200, yes, okay, that's good, it's $5,200. And then there are 2 lights on Hillside. We actually we get a bill for the lights on Hillside and Delmore, and 2 of the lights are out on Hillside. One at the top of the hill, and one closer to East Maple, or East Palmer, I'm sorry.
John, can you notate that for me, please? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Is that it?
Yes,
I don't want to cut you off.
thank you.
Anyone else? All right, hearing none, roll call.
Ms. Engelhardt?
Yes. Yes.
Mr. Lewin?
Yes.
Mr. Paul?
Yes.
Mr. Robinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Sherlock?
Yes.
And Mr. Parker?
Yes. All right, motion passes. All right, we're going to move on to report. 7A is the mayor's report.
Thank you. So just a couple quick things. I want to be trying to mindful of everybody's time. I did perform my first wedding here in Morrisville this past month, and so I just want to congratulate that couple and say thank you. It was quite an honor. And just a brief note, we had that wedding over at the courthouse, and someone made a comment that day that I just thought was very nice. I thought it was real nice to see such a great, happy moment and people having so much joy that right there in that building, especially with so many people not being able to get together for this kind of thing over the last couple of years. So thank you again to them. It was a great couple. They've been together a long time, raised each other's children, and now they're ready to take care of themselves. So it was an honor. Thank you very much. And also in February, I had the honor of swearing in a police officer, so thank you to everyone who made that possible, and hopefully we'll see a lot more of that in the next upcoming months. Over at the library, they have an ongoing book sale. I think this is important. It's $3 a bag. Bring your own bag, books, DVDs, audiobooks. The sale goes on until the end of April. It's a good way to help the library and a good way to keep these things in circulation. And also, they're preparing for some summer programs for the kids, and they're asking for any gift cards, small gift card donations that they could use as prizes for those things. And something else that I think is pretty cool, they have an ongoing seed sharing program that's sponsored by the county. And they have lots of gardening information. You can pick up your seeds, drop off your seeds. I saw a picture of the display today, and it was actually pretty impressive. So that's another thing to stop by and check out. Or if you need information on any of those things, just call the library for some more info. Real quick, our local fire department is having their annual Easter sale, Easter flower sale, on April 15th to the 17th. So that's a nice tradition here, again, getting outside and planting some flowers. And just one last thing I want to mention, the Senior Center is doing a car show on April 9th. I think it's important to mention that all the proceeds will be going to the Senior Center. So it's $20 if you want to show your car, which is nothing, free to show up and watch. So, I don't know, car shows are always fun, so I hope you guys can get out and enjoy that. And as always, thank you for everybody who showed up and tuned in tonight. I really appreciate your time and concern.
Thank you, Mayor.
I just want to add to his thing. I was at the library yesterday for the seed program, and they have tons of seeds and a large selection. So if anyone wants to get out there, they should.
Police Chief's report. Chief?
Yes, sir. Tonight I'm happy to bring Mitchell August to be sworn in and to be approved by council. Mitch is a 5-year veteran. He's worked in Delaware County and currently working in Montgomery County. I was happy to get someone with 5 years experience. It'll mean a lot to the department. Right now, it looks like within the next 2 weeks, I'll be losing 2 more of my part-time officers, which is a compliment to the department, but it's also a drain. I've lost, this will be 4 part-time officers, full-time other departments within the last month. And there's a reason why, because they're trained so well and they know what they're doing. They can walk in. But with that said, I'm trying to aggressively hire other officers. I'm going to have to start bringing in actually guys from the academy with no experience, and we're going to have to make that work. Without the part-timers, we struggle throughout the summer. But I know we're going to schedule a sit-down to talk about things, and we need to do that. But in the meantime, tonight I'll be happy that Mitchell will be sworn in. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Managers report.
Everyone has the manager's report before you. Do you have any questions for the month of March? I would just like to, go ahead if you do.
Actually, Barry Islip, when are they actually starting?
Barry Iset started last Tuesday, and they're in full force as we speak now.
Or is code, like for Keystone was only here in the mornings, are they here all day or same hours for the public's knowledge?
Currently, they have been on an as-needed work basis because what we're trying to do is put together an as-needed work basis program along with some set hours. So they've actually been here pretty much of every day this week, but we're not going to follow through on something of that nature. We're going to have so many hours during the week, and then we're also going to have a work as needed program. So we'll be a little different than before, but we'll be providing some hours at one point once we have everything organized.
Any other questions?
I just wanted everyone to know that we're working on the Bridge Street project with PennDOT. The drawings were approved. The bid documents, I have on my notations that they were being prepared, but they've already been approved since our meeting. And that remnant over there, both of those, that is the Bridge Street project. So we look forward to, the borough is actually sponsoring this program through PennDOT. We look forward to sponsoring it. It will be a great addition to the borough. So I see construction starting very soon this year, possibly July. We also have Pennsylvania Avenue over the Delaware Canal Bridge project. The minutes were provided to council. We also had a meeting today regarding safety and detour issues and so forth. And Borough Council members were attended also, along with the Public Works Department and the Police Department, Police Chief, I'm sorry. And we're working towards wonderful things towards that also. That won't take place for another 18 months at least, though, but it's a wonderful project. We also, excuse me, we also have a resolution that all of you have before you this evening. It's appointing delegates and alternates to the Bucks County Tax Collection Committee. Discussion will be needed amongst the council and the council president regarding who would be the delegates and so forth. So we'll have to have answers on that for next month's meeting, and we'll put it on the agenda for approval. So if everyone can please look that over. I would like to be the voting delegate if council is amenable to that. I've been that in other municipalities that I've worked at. Our 2021 DCED borough audit is underway. We have police union negotiations continuing. We're working with the the Morrisville Little League. Their payment and process is underway. And just to inform council, so you have that information tonight for your vote, I just received an email at 5:50 p.m. by Mr. O'Brien. We had originally requested the fees for 2020 and 2021, which would have been $7,000 a year. To date now, what we've received this evening is $3,500 for 2021. We did not receive anything for 2020, and we received the $7,000 for 2022. So at this time, in our emails, it had stated that I had no record of anything from prior time, so we were requesting the $7,000 for 2020 and 2021. But this is just informational to council for your vote this evening. And I did also receive several years of certificate insurances at this time. We're still awaiting the rest of the paperwork. Okay.
Can I ask a question now, or do we wait?
Yes.
When we make the vote? So the vote this evening is, I think it's to include all of paperwork that we need, including, rosters and so forth. And we've been pretty firm about not voting yes if these aren't in place.
Correct.
So you're saying we don't have the roster?
No, we don't. Mr. O'Brien had said that he would be getting that to us shortly.
And do you know what shortly is? Okay. To Ms. Danko, I guess, would be the person to send it to, not myself.
And I just want to say that the issue is that emails have been going on for several months, and here we are at the 11th hour, and we're still waiting for all these things. I think we have to talk about that in good faith as to the request that's constantly being put towards council, that they're put on the spot because we are waiting for these things. We've been asking for them for months, and we're still sitting here in the 11th hour without them. I was with the understanding that we were going to be getting the 2020 fees, the 2021 fees this evening. I had put that in at least 4 emails. So again, it's council's decision as to how you vote this evening. But all of this information has been in several emails. It's been very clear as to what the council's been looking for. And I just would like to say that.
Jim, are you going to be providing the borough with the 2020 and the remainder of the 2021 fees?
Based on past conversations with Scott, and we had expected to have 2021 fees. We were in conversations with the committee and negotiation, and had to finalize that.
Okay, so none of that came before council for council to vote.
Right.
So if you were having conversations, council didn't approve those fees being waived. So I would assume since the borough manager asked for those fees, and I do believe the rest of council has asked for those fees, that those fees get paid.
The challenge I have is at the time, the council asked me to work directly with the borough manager as they instructed me to work with the borough manager now. I did that. I followed that protocol, and I feel like that's good faith. Unfortunately, tragically, it's not possible, right? And I don't know where that landed in terms of getting to you, but I've been trying to negotiate actively quite some time to try to resolve this stuff. And again, my good faith effort is the best I can offer you.
I don't really get what your good faith effort is. I mean, there are fees that are due. The fee schedule was put out, and you're only giving us half of 1 year. And I know both for 2020 and 2021, the kids were down there playing. So you were using the fields, and I do know that you also, I don't know if you sublet the fields, but there was another group other than Little League playing on those fields. And at some point, Morrisville Borough residents are paying for those fields.
We do not sublet fields, and at no point is there ever an organization besides Morrisville Borough playing down there. We at one point had requested, we were presented with a outside organization in the past, and I attempted to follow that office protocol and raise that to our manager. I was told not to allow them. I did not allow them, and I was simply just trying to follow the protocol.
And if I may comment on that, it came to our attention that you had said in the past, you had just asked for their certificate of insurance and you had provided them utilization of the field. I provided that email to council. What I had told you was that I didn't say that you couldn't, or that they could not rent the field. I said that they had to go through the proper process, which is everyone must go through the borough office for the rental of the fields. And in your email, you said that you normally took care of that. You would ask for their certificate of insurance and provide them use of the field. So that seems to be where the issue is with council.
I can't clarify that. I received a notice on Saturday morning as a result of rain on this Friday from a neighboring league. Their fields were unplayable. They were looking for an alternative location. And as a good neighbor, I was trying to offer a solution for them. But I was being very sensitive to the fact that dynamics we had in relation to the borough right now. So I was trying to do my best just to check in to make sure. So I wasn't trying to circumvent anything as far as in the past, but would we help out a neighboring league if they, weren't not going to rain out or something, maybe before my time. Again, I was trying my best just to make it work for the kids and not try to circumvent anything.
Mr. Parker, if I could just comment. I understand that we're requesting 2021 and of course 22. I'm going to go back to 2020, and I don't feel that we should. I know that they use the field, not completely, but if that agreement was made with Scott Mitchell, and he did mention that to us in 2020, I just think that they should be exonerated from 2020. But full 21.
And of course, that's up to what council as a whole. What I had proposed to Mr. O'Brien is I sent several emails for a couple months stating that if you have something in writing with the approval, I would certainly abide by that. It would not be the borough manager's discretion to ever relieve anyone of fees. I can't do that. Mr. Mitchell couldn't have done that. It would have had to go through council. That's a council.
No individual council member can either.
Right, and thank you. President
I
Parker.
understand
No,
that.
no individual council member can do that either. So everyone had the understanding that it had to go to council and get approved. It never got approved through council. And that is the status of what I've been basing all of the information that I have on. It was never approved, and the MLL understood that, it knew that. So that's the basis we're utilizing.
All right.
I haven't looked through motions
One second.
to see if we did it by motion, but I know there was a discussion.
We didn't do a motion, but there was discussion. It was brought up at the negotiations for a new MOU, but it wasn't granted.
I'm saying Mr. Mitchell granted it. And I know you're saying that he can't, but if he did, then where are we?
Well, but did he send a letter telling them? I mean, he can't just do it verbally.
I'd have to go back. I just remember we, as a group at the time, it was discussed.
It
So-
was mentioned that perhaps, but it was never voted on, nor was it ever a consensus to do
I'm going
that.
to slowly rein this back in because this is
Okay.
a report, and we have a motion also. If we're looking, if there's a consensus that we would like to waive the 2020 fees, I have no problem because that had been presented because of COVID, the fact that it was a limited schedule. It had been mentioned. It wasn't Scott Mitchell's idea, but it was just something that he had been presented with. So are we okay with adding a motion to?
Well, you need a motion for that, don't you? Or,
We're going to do it at
okay.
the end of it. So can I have some nods of heads? We're okay with adding a motion. I'm not asking for a vote.
No, I'm not.
You're not, okay.
I would do a reduced fee because they did use the fields.
Towards the end of the year, I think they might have, yes.
Hey, Helen, I could support that. You use the field, you pay half.
They didn't use it for half.
I'm still, well, hold on.
He's asking you about.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, me.
No, Ted.
Would you consider a motion to either?
Leave half the fee?
Yes, I'm totally in favor of waiving the entire fee for 2020. At your request, I led the subcommittee negotiating with Mr. O'Brien last summer. You were there. We worked on the assumption that Scott had granted that waiver. And, I'm not comfortable taking it away, frankly. And I think we should honor that, whether or not it was reduced in writing as it should have been, whether or not it was brought before this council as it should have been. It wasn't, but, it was extraordinary circumstances with the pandemic and with Scott's fatal passing. So I think it's only fair to waive it for 2020 and then request the entire fee for 2021, which we were in the middle of negotiating. There was a bid offer of like 7 to 10. So, we never accepted 3,500 as being the proper amount, but I think we should go back to 7,000 for 2021 and keep it at that going forward unless we can negotiate some other fee to our mutual satisfaction. That's what I would do. And I don't mean that as any way of second guessing our borough manager or undercutting her, that she's has the authority to do this as well she should. She stepped in the middle of this mess and tried to make the best of it. But I think for the fairness to everybody, and so there are no hard feelings, and that we can work together as a community going forward, as both Mr. O'Brien and Ms. Danko suggest, I think we should, as a matter of good faith, waive 2020, charge for 2021, and going forward in full.
Okay, we'll do that after the. Okay, since we're still in reports and we've veered off a lot.
Would you like to continue
Yes,
my
please.
report?
Just
Yes.
give us a few minutes, Mr. O'Brien.
Yes.
If I may, just one final comment. Helen, you also asked that players were down at the fields. Our biggest impact was our fundraising and our lack of concession stands revenue, which are the two big drivers. That was what hurt us so much in 2020 and in 2021. I just wanted to explain.
And in all fairness, that was brought up.
Yeah. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, go ahead, Judy.
Thank you. As I was saying, we did bring in Barry Isett and Associates. The orientation took place with the borough staff, the public works supervisor, the police chief, and it was very successful. We have a new group. Keystone is now not with us anymore, and Barry Isett and Company is. We have at least 8 to 10 people that we can access at any time. The chief now will have access 24/7. If there's a code enforcement issue, he can call them on their cell phone and they will come out at 1 o'clock in the morning or 3 o'clock in the morning. We just had a vehicle drive through a building, a drunken driver. So they're very active with this situation at this time. But I'm happy to say that this is in place. And I look forward to working with the company, and I think everyone else does. And we also encourage residents to please utilize our public portal with with being able to put your code enforcement complaints or anything of that nature in that portal. If you utilize that, that will go to the proper departments and it will get looked upon and reviewed and so forth. And if there's something that we can do to rectify situations, this is a very good tool. It is in the phase of trying to make sure that things are going the way they should be and reporting is done and responses come back. So be patient with us because it's a trial and error as we work through this. But I'm hoping for a successful event with this and that we can physically accomplish taking care of a lot of these complaint issues. So please utilize that portal. Be greatly appreciated. We're also creating a records room and property files that's began. We're also trying to become digital for the future. We're scanning planning and zoning plans. It's the beginning of the goal, and hopefully we can get there quickly. Again, tracer testing is ongoing. All complaints should be processed through this software. The Stockham building cell towers was an issue at the last meeting. I was asked to please put it on this agenda. Since ISET is so new, this is an item that we will be working on, and I will report back to everyone on that. That is all I have for this evening. And you also have the previous Keystone report. So if anyone else has any more questions, please let me know.
Mr. Parker, or actually it's for Judith. We all received, well, it was in our packet, but we also received a personal letter in our packet this evening regarding the last thing listed on your report regarding Michael and Suzanne, who live on Althea, the issue regarding roosters. I'm guessing that's just going to go to the Policy and Ordinance Committee. Is there any?
No, it's what we're doing is I'm taking it to Keystone. Barry Isett first. And once we do an overview of where the situation really is, I'll be bringing all of that back to council.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
All right.
You're welcome.
Moving on to 7D, committee reports.
Okay.
Sure. That's you.
On February 22nd, 2022, at 7 p.m. was held the first this year, the Morrisville Parks and Recreation Committee meeting. In attendance was myself, Councilman Andrew Lubin, Councilman Bob Paul, Councilwoman Nancy Sherlock, and Borough Manager Judith Danko, and we had a resident, Debbie Colgan, was in attendance. Our first order of business was to elect a chairperson and a secretary. Myself was elected as the chairperson, and Nancy Sherlock was elected as secretary. The first kind of order of a business was to talk about the name of the organizations. It's been called Open Spaces, Parks and Recreation. It's been called many names from my understanding. So we voted to change the name to the Parks and Recreation Committee. So that's what will be known here out. Judith spoke about the financial situation and the process of renting spaces and how we need to follow processes and that all requests and correspondence need to come through the borough manager. And we need to charge for these services. I also want to state what our purpose was. And so my vision would be, and we're still working on the vision, it'll be a part of the committee, is to see how we can utilize our parks in the community in order to benefit the residents and the business community. Debbie Colgan stated that she believes we need to keep the connection of all of our parks and take the time to care for them. Bob Paul asked to speak about the Little League situation. The small committee that was in discussion with MBL has now dissolved and will be handled by the Parks and Recreation Committee and the borough manager. And then we discussed, discussion around Manor Park Playground and the grant that was applied for last year. Judith explained that we don't have the money for the match or any other grants at this time. Discussion ensued regarding the request from the group that we would like to have the Earth Day celebration in the open space south of the dog park. And Debbie asked about the dog park and that they would be paying fees in the future. The group that handles the dog park actively and are very good stewards of the park. Fees for the dog park were not determined at this time. Motion adjourned at 8:42 was made by Nancy and seconded by Andrew. And the full detailed minutes are on the website.
May I answer her question, Council President? I did review the dog park fees, and we are charging fees for the park. Just
Okay.
wanted to clarify that.
Oh, thank you.
That was something I was asked
Just
to do.
didn't know. Thank you.
Fees.
We are.
We are, yes.
And how
There were
much?
several events there, and it was
the event.
It was an
Oh,
event.
if they have
fee.
an event.
It was an
yes.
event fee.
But
yes.
not to have your dog go there.
No. But we're talking about event fees.
Oh.
Yes, just strictly event fees.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, you guys, if you could, the next time you meet, consider perhaps having people register their dogs before using the park, because there are some residents who have told me that there were some incidences with their animals.
We actually, we didn't really get into it at that meeting, but you're right, that's been discussed before, that we should have people register, come to the borough and register. Other communities actually charge to register, like the dog parks, it's $35 a dog, $15 for the second dog,
Right.
that sort of thing.
We should look into that.
Thank you. Put that on the agenda for next time.
Any other committee?
Well, Judith actually started to talk about today when we met with with PennDOT and the engineer regarding the bridge project over Pennsylvania Avenue over the canal. And as she had said, they wanted to talk about safety and detours. And so the detours they're kind of set in stone right now. I mean, there's not a lot to do, to change it. It will be somewhat of an inconvenience. I did think that possibly, since it's very close to the senior towers, that maybe they would be amenable to having a meeting there, not just for their residents, but maybe of the whole neighborhood to talk about this. Although it's not supposed to begin until summer of 26. Shoot, I wrote it down, I thought.
2024.
2020, oh, because it's only 22. Okay, thank you. So one good thing that came out of it is the truck detour really takes them completely around Morrisville. It's the entire perimeter. It's 13 and Route 1, and it's not through any of these neighboring towns or neighboring streets. So, but it will be a challenge for anybody because that road will be closed for a couple years at least, that portion of the road. So, more to follow. And I'll be in touch with the senior center. The towers, and see. But I don't want to alarm them too soon, though. But the pedestrian detour takes you up from Osborne to Lafayette and then down to Bridge Street. So, and I think they said the pedestrian detour is 3/4 of a mile extra. So.
And we've got a Finance Committee meeting report if you're ready.
Yes, sir.
Great, thank you. Good evening, everybody. I'm Andrew Lubin from Finance Committee. We had our first meeting on February 23rd, 7 p.m. Councilwoman Sherlock attended. Mayor Anderson was there. Chief McClay was there, Officer Zambrano, and Mrs. Danko. First part of the meeting was I was nominated to be chairman. It was voted in. Mrs. Danko then discussed, since finance is so important to Morrisville, the EFT. As we know, but you need to know, while residents will start being charged the EFT come June, the borough won't be receiving the money from the state until beginning October. So lien coffers would probably be a pretty accurate description. But so we'll have the full EFT money starting 2023, but that doesn't help tomorrow. We also voted to change the meeting to every 3 months instead of every month, and we'll be recommending that to council. Chief McClay then presented a proposal that he wants to raise salaries of the part-time police officers.
I'm sorry, I don't know that. Are you allowed to talk about that? I don't know. Are you allowed to talk? Isn't that
I'm not
like?
going to give details, but we did discuss it in the meeting.
It was an open meeting.
Okay.
But thank you. The chief wants to raise the salaries of the part-time officers because he believes, and he provided documentation, that we need to pay higher salaries because otherwise we're losing police officers because other people are paying more, other towns are paying more. Discussion went on about how much, and then there's an issue with workman's comp and changing or not changing the 60-hour rule, which all has to be resolved. So when all that is resolved, we can officially vote on the chief's his request and pass it on to council. And then after this short time, the meeting was adjourned.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, Mr. Parker, I'd like to give a report on the Vacant Property Review Committee.
Go ahead, sir.
The Vacant Property Review Committee, we had our first meeting of the year on last Tuesday, March 8th. And in attendance, besides yours truly, was our borough manager, Judith Danko, Jeff Darwick, the executive director of the Bucks County Redevelopment Authority, and Steve Ware of Keystone in his last day on duty. We went through the properties report that Steve had prepared. The good news is there were no new properties to be added to it. Further good news is that there were some that came off, either because the properties were sold, rehabilitated, or now reoccupied by their owner. There was no new business, and we're going to meet again the next quarter. Any questions?
Thank you.
Okay. If there's no others, we're going to move on to action items. First order of business is we have to make a motion to amend the agenda, add a motion to waive the Morrisville Little League's fees for the year of 2020. Can I have a motion?
I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Should we do it? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
I'm opposed.
Okay. Motion passes 6-1. Okay, so that's going to be moved to the, made at the end of the current agenda. So we're going to move on to action item 8A, which is a call for a motion to accept the resignation of Councilman Victor Cicero. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second it. Move it forward. Discussion.
I just want to say thank you for Mr. Cicero's short period of time. Very disappointed that he's not able to carry this out. But due to a complicated fall last fall, late October, he's not recovering as quickly as he had hoped. So he thought it best to move on. So we wish him the best.
Yes. Shocking. Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. 8B, a call for a motion to advertise Borough Council Ward 4 vacancy, term expiring. Is that right? Oh, we hit it.
Yes.
It is, okay. On January 2nd, 2024, to be advertised on all Morrisville Borough public portals. Can I have a motion?
So moved?
I'll second it. Any discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 8C, a call for a motion to hire Mitchell August as a part-time police officer. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Somebody else can figure that one out. We have a motion and a second. Discussion?
Helen and Andrew, right?
All right, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Chief, do you want to swear him in now? All right, we're going to allow the mayor and the police chief to swear in our new part-time officer.
Hi. Welcome to Morrisville Borough.
That I will support, obey, and defend. I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States. The Constitution of the United States. And the Constitution of this Commonwealth. And that I will discharge the duties of my office with fidelity.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Welcome aboard. All right, we'll move on to 8D, a call for a motion to grant or deny the Morrisville Little League to conduct its opening day parade and ceremonies on April 2nd, 2022, per the letter received on March 9th, 2022. Can I have a motion?
I so move.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion.
Can we have it in there that pursuant to getting the remaining fees owed to us by that date?
Yes, and all the other outstanding paperwork.
Yeah, you can make a motion to amend and add
Okay.
those requirements.
Can I make a motion to amend?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to amend. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
May I make a suggestion to Helen? When you're amending that, to say grant instead of grant or deny. Can we take out the deny? If we're going to do one or the other?
Yeah, we can do that now.
Call for a motion to grant Morrisville Little League to conduct opening day parade and ceremonies on 4/2 per the letter received on 3/9. Pursuant to obtaining, contingent upon?
Contingent upon receipt of final payments and all documents owed.
You want a due date on the receipt of money and documents? Like not on the 1st?
Well, 4/2 is a Saturday, so yeah, end of business day on April 1.
About a few days earlier because their record isn't good for, except for coming up with stuff at the last second.
You can come up, sir.
You can come up to the podium.
So Manager Danko and I had agreed to meet next week to further any discussions on this. I don't think we had set a date, but Tuesday or Thursday we're looking good. If we can work things out, I'd love to be able to get that squared away by then. I did want to address the MOU in totality, and I'd rather do that sooner than later. I know you guys have a lot on your plate, but that's something I would like that certainty of. I don't know where we can fit that in.
You'll actually be working with me on that.
Right, absolutely.
So that's something you and I'm actually working on it already, but I'm piecemealing it because I just had to do a grant and so forth. So as time permits, I've been working on it. Okay. So it's something, and since your agreement is in effect, I didn't feel the necessity to rush into anything. So we have plenty of time to work on that. in moving forward. So I think the most important part is to get the funds that the council decides that you're going to owe, along with all of your paperwork, as quickly as possible. And then moving forward next year, having it in prior to the due date. So I think that's really what they're looking for, is that good faith effort to do that.
I understand. This is the toughest time of the year from an expense standpoint for us. We're paying for uniforms and fields. I just had to write checks for a bunch of stuff that we were fixing fields up on. And one of the things that I was requesting in the MOU is that we actually split the timing of the payment into an earlier payment and an end-of-year payment when we have more cash in the bank. That was just one of the things that we were hoping to negotiate on.
Yes, and I like that idea, because we don't have money at the end of the year either, so we can talk about all those things. Yes.
Is it possible to get like maybe some of the timing of the 3,500 remaining?
First, council council didn't even vote on allowing whatever they would like to see happen yet. So once council votes on that in a couple minutes, we'll then know what the allowability will be.
That was, I guess my question was, if it's possible to not link the fee. I'm happy to get all the paperwork in. I can get that in by the end of this week. Again, it'll be draft form for the players registration.
Earlier, you said you're going to get it in tonight.
I can do it tonight if you want. That's no problem.
Why are we negotiating this? Just send it in.
Will do.
So are you able to, Jim, are you able to get the remainder of the fees by the parade day, or when is a good day? I don't want to be a stickler, but you need to give us a date, and we're going to get that money on that date.
I appreciate it. I know we have to decide it tonight. I'd rather talk with our treasurer to make sure. But even later this season, I think would be okay. We have a big fundraiser that we do on Memorial Day that brings in a decent amount of revenue. I know that's a ways off, but I certainly could commit to like mid-June, I think, would be fine.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to amend this motion that we're going to allow the Little League Parade, blah, 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 per the letter, blah, 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 contingent upon getting the paperwork. I'm okay because splitting the fee, since you've already given us half of for 2021, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And then when will we get that second half of 2021?
What I proposed in the revised MOU with the committee was to set it for the end of this year, like December timeframe. But what I'm saying is that if we can do it after our fundraiser and Memorial Day, so set it for sometime in June 30th.
Okay, and then
we can make that work from a cash flow standpoint.
And then when will we get the 2022 payments?
You've already received the 2022 payments.
Oh, we have?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I must have missed that. My bad. Okay.
Mr. Parker?
Yes.
In Helen's amendment, it says per letter received 939. I think the 39 letter includes 2020, so we either have to take that phrase out or amend it there, right?
No, the 39 letter is just the availability and the authorization to do the opening day and the parade. That's all
Okay,
it is.
it's not the one where it had the figures for each year?
No, the MOU is
Okay.
from 2018 on, and it continues every year unless it's changed.
Okay,
So
thank you.
nothing changes unless we change it.
Okay.
So we can, the date, we're going to set June 30th as a date. We can do that in the motion. We're considering to waive the fees for 2020.
You're considering that, yes. But the remainder of 2021 monies that are due would be due in June of 2022.
Yes.
We're only doing this for that year. We're not changing anything else moving forward yet. If any changes will be made, it will be in a new MOU.
Well, it would be up to date. At June 30th,
Yes.
they would be up to date.
They would be,
So,
correct. Depending on what council votes on tonight.
okay.
If they alleviate fees.
You wrote down her amendment, right?
So can Helen read this long motion again?
Yes, we made a motion to amend, you voted, so we'll have to make another motion to amend to include the additional language. So
Oh, because I didn't amend the language yet, and we didn't vote on my amended
rather have-
language.
we did vote on.
I'd rather have the solicitor amend it.
No, we didn't. I didn't finish my amendment.
We didn't vote on it.
Yeah, we didn't vote on it.
No.
So I could still make my changes to my amendment.
Right.
Well, we did a motion on the original form, And then we
And we
did it, and then we
motioned
stopped, and then we did a motion to amend,
And there was a vote on that.
No.
No, there was no vote yet.
not on the amended motion.
Only to make an amendment. We
Right.
voted to amend.
Yeah, so yes, that's what I'm saying. There was,
Okay.
yes, there was a vote
Yes.
to make.
To make,
Yeah.
Could you do the language so that
Yes.
we're sure?
Call for a motion to grant Morrisville Little League to conduct the opening day parade and ceremonies on 4/2 per their letter received 3/9, contingent upon getting all paperwork by 4/1.
Is that good?
Yes.
Okay. It has the solicitor's approval. All right, that motion is up for a vote now. Since
It is contingent upon getting the funds by
Can
June.
I have a motion?
So moved.
second,
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, motion passes 7-0.
How about an abstain? You want to call for that?
You have,
Yeah, I want to abstain.
you have to either, can he abstain?
sure.
Yeah.
You just
You have
have
to provide a reason as to why you're abstaining.
a written reason.
Then forget it.
Well,
And I just didn't, then put down that I just didn't vote.
You can't not
Can you
Well,
vote?
it would be a no.
it counts as a no
did.
vote.
Be yes or
You
no?
vote
Counts as a
no.
vote.
I vote no. Thank you for
Okay.
All
correcting me.
right, motion passes 6-1.
Thank you, Council. Appreciate it.
All right. 8E, a call for a motion to approve the borough to co-sponsor Earth Day festivities with the dance crew/group, and I will not attempt the Spanish version, but which translates to Hummingbirds of the Earth. The event will take place on April 23rd, 2022 at the open space next to the Morrisville Dog Park.
So moved.
Second,
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?
I hope a lot of the public joins.
Yes.
It's a very nice ceremony.
I had made the suggestion to you by email that possibly attend the next Park and Recreation Committee meeting so that you can go over any finer details or any needs you might need so that they can relay it to council.
You're on
And
the
the borough.
agenda.
You are, okay.
You're on the agenda.
She's on the agenda, you are on the agenda for this month. Okay?
I don't think that was on.
I amended it and changed it.
Okay.
I mean, you might think so.
I am so lost now. All right, 8F, call for a motion to appoint Barry Isett and Associates as Morrisville Borough Zoning Officer, Borough Code Official, Floodplain Manager, and Fire Marshal Mike Attella of Barry Isett and Associates.
So moved.
Second,
Discussion?
I wish the new company luck as well as Morrisville.
Mr. Parker, I don't understand this resolution.
If I may explain, unless Scott, you want to. Basically, we appoint Barry Isett and Company for all of these items because
No,
we're.
I get all that, but what's this at the end? It says Fire Marshal Mike Italia of Barry Isett. Why? This doesn't make any sense. This sentence doesn't make any sense, okay?
Well, there was a comma and I didn't pause, so.
Not even the comma. No, I mean, is
Mike-
Mike Italia
Mike
all those
Ital-
positions or he's just Fire Marshal?
Mike Italia is the overseer of the people who will serve in those roles. So he's the contact point for Barry Isett.
So he shouldn't be in here at all.
He's operations manager according to what they sent us.
No, but he's not, we're appointing Barry Isett, right?
Correct.
So why are we even mentioning Mike
He's just the
Italia?
person who's the operating
Well, then we
manager.
need to identify him as that or take him out. This makes no sense the way it's written here. I'm sorry, but, I'm sorry. It's just, we got to make this into English.
We could take him out then. Just take him,
All right, then we're not appointing
Well,
anybody.
we need to appoint him, I think.
Is he
because
appointed by
he
name
is-
as the zoning officer and
Yeah,
everything?
He is, yeah.
oh, he is being appointed as I thought, okay, then if
Well,
he's being appointed.
then let's put that in the front, then, or is he appointed for all these positions?
All right,
He's
let's,
appointed for all these positions.
Okay, well then say call for a motion to appoint Mike Italia of
You have
Barry
to make a
Isett.
motion to amend.
What we wanted to do was everyone from ISET that works for ISET that will be working for us, we wanted to include all of them.
And we should say that.
And we did.
No,
And
we
then-
don't. No, we didn't. We're appointing a company. We're not saying everybody who works for that company.
Well, that's how you do it.
No, that's not how you do it.
Then I need guidance as to how.
I want to
should
make
do
a
it.
motion to fix this sentence. It'll be real simple. This is real simple to figure out. So if anyone is good with that?
I'll second.
Yeah.
Okay. So the sentence will be, call for a motion to appoint Barry Isett and Associates as Morrisville Borough Zoning Officer, Building Code Official, Floodplain Manager, and Fire Marshal. Replace that comma with a period, okay? Double space. Mike Italia of Barry Isett and Associates will be our point person or our point of contact for Morrisville Borough, period.
Although we don't need a motion for that.
Well, fix the sentence.
You have to have a.
I would just put well, if Mike Italia by name is going to be in these positions, is that the case?
He will be.
Then why don't we say, call for a motion to appoint Mike Italia of Barry Isett and Associates as Morrisville Zoning Officer, Building Code Official, Floodplain Manager, and Fire Marshal, period.
Because
Isn't that?
everyone, there's a crew of 10 under him that will also be doing.
Who are we appointing? Are we appointing?
We're appointing Barry Isett and Company Associates.
Then why are we talking about Mike Italia?
Because he's the point person.
But that's not, we're not giving phone numbers too. If the official action of the council.
Mr. Parker.
I'm sorry, but I'm frustrated because this is just.
Please.
We need these resolutions to be written in clear English and punctuated properly. I'm really getting tired of these things slapped together. It really doesn't make any sense. Sorry.
Fire marshal, he needs to be delegated as the fire marshal for me. All right, so he's got to be elected as the fire marshal or signed that.
Mr. Parker, we received a personnel and structure in our packet, and it has operations manager is Mike Italia, zoning floodplain, Mike Italia, building code official, Mike Italia, fire marshal, Mike Italia. He's listed on this roster in all those positions. So.
All right. Can I have a motion to amend the motion?
Okay. So moved.
I already made that motion to amend.
I didn't make it, so. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to amend. Give me 1 second.
Ted, there was already a motion and a second.
There was no motion.
Yes, there was. Scott made a motion and I seconded it. So you have to either vote on it or Scott needs to adjust his motion. Or we vote on it.
We just did.
Or he has to rescind his motion.
I don't, did everybody take that as a motion or just a fix?
He said I make a motion and I
It
seconded
wasn't
it.
acknowledged. It wasn't voted on, so.
Yeah.
But there's a first and a motion and a second.
We had a motion, we had a second, so we can either withdraw it and make a new one or change
I
it.
move to table Scott's motion. Just keep this thing moving.
We're tabling the whole motion.
Oh my God, no.
We're not appointing him.
If you table my motion, we'll be voting on exactly how it's written on here. My motion was to fix that
No,
sentence.
we voted to amend it. We voted to amend it. Now I'm just tabling yours. I'm going to propose another amendment.
Okay.
That was my motion to amend it.
Oh, no. Oh,
A different amendment.
no, I thought you were proposing the amendment.
All right, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, I run the meeting. I am the council president. We just don't get to make motions arbitrarily and throw them out there, and just because there was a second, if it's not acknowledged by the chair, then it's not a motion. I can't have this, where we're now bickering up and down when it can simply be solved by rearranging the motion with Mike Italia's name in the beginning of the motion.
Exactly.
Let's just do this.
Exactly.
We have a motion and we have a second to amend. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. If you don't speak up, you're voting for it. The motion will be a call for a motion to appoint Mike Italia of Barry Isett Associates as Morrisville Borough Zoning Officer, Building Code Official, Floodplain Manager, and Fire Marshal. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0. That was very easy.
Doesn't care.
Mike, if Mike's watching, congratulations and thank you.
Welcome to Morrisville, Mike.
He will be here possibly in April to introduce himself.
Thank you, Scott.
Possibly.
You might want to stay at Yardley. Call for a motion to adopt a resolution for Appendix 1 SLA, authorized official resolution for PW, I'm assuming that's Public Works, dump truck / plow / salt spreader grant application.
So
Motion.
Nancy and Scott. Can I have a discussion?
just thank you, Judith. I know this has been on your plate all week long, or last week.
You want to fill everybody in, Judith? I'm not sure if everybody knows.
Certainly. The deadline was today, and we accomplished that. The information that I was able to pull to apply for this, we had to do it quickly. I had a lot of help from John from the Public Works Department. Thank you. Also had a lot of help from Sanasirio's office, Senator Sanasirio's office. They also wrote us a very nice endorsement letter for this. This grant became available very quickly. So I called Sanasirio's office and asked what I could do to apply. There was no match requirement for this grant. That was the main reason that I tried to act quickly on this. I was able to write the grant through the week and the weekend and get it submitted today. So thank you all for your support on this, and I look forward to some good results, I hope.
Should we include that cost in the motion or not?
We don't need to.
No? Okay.
The resolution itself, if you look at it, it has the information in it.
Okay.
The total is, I believe, $128,930.
Yeah. Okay.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 8H, call for a motion to approve change order number 2 dated March 4th, 2022 regarding the library roof replacement in the amount of $5,500.
So moved.
You either make a motion to grant or you make a motion to deny.
I'll second it just to move it along.
Okay.
You're wrong.
Any discussion?
You call for a motion to grant, and then if it gets voted down, you're not granting it.
This was a great change order, that's all I want to say. They removed the back decking that was deteriorating. And it wasn't expected from the beginning.
Sorry, I didn't hear
Okay. Anyone else? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 8I, a call for a motion to approve payment number 2, final, dated March 9th, 2022, regarding the library replacement, roof replacement in the amount of $129,889.70, contingent upon receipt of the required closeout documents from the contractor. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Discussion. All right, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. 8J, a call for a motion to approve the the Easter egg hunt sponsored by the Morrisville Yardley Rotary Club to be held on Saturday, April 16th in Williamson Park from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Can I add something? A couple years ago, I went to the Easter egg hunt, and it was great. The Rotary was putting it on. They were hiding the eggs. But I need to have Little League informed that when that Easter egg hunt is going on, that you guys have to stay out of the fields where the eggs are. Because the kids, nothing against the kids in Little League, but they were running across. You know, there were kids trying to get Little League eggs, and the Little League was playing, and it was just a mess. So Little League kids are more than welcome to join in. They're more than welcome, but I need to make sure that, those fields are designated for the Easter egg hunt.
Anyone else? All right, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. 8K, call for a motion to approve the MEAC Spring 2022 Riverfront Preserve Cleanup, March 19th, 2022, from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, to meet at the corner of Delmar and Philadelphia Avenues. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Again, I hope everybody joins in. It's supposed to be nice weather on Saturday. And you need to, trash bags will be provided as well as snacks, but make sure you bring the proper gloves and so forth. And you will be asked to sign a liability waiver.
Okay. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. 8L, a call for a motion, 8M, a call for a motion to authorize the borough to participate in the Bucks County Health Department Annual West Nile Virus Program.
You missed one.
So moved.
Oh, I did miss it. All right, we'll do 8M and then go back. All right. For 8M. So we have a motion made for 8M. I'll second it. I don't know if anybody did, but anyway. Any discussion on 8M? All right, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 8L, call for a motion to approve the MEAC Spring Nature Walk for April 23rd, 2022, from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. at the Morrisville Riverfront Preserve. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second it. Discussion?
This is by Master Naturalist Mary Ann Borsch. She's been here before. If you're into nature, this is a very, very pleasant day.
I have a question. Where is that walk going to be? The reason I'm asking is because the walk on here says it's from 10:30 to 11:30, and our friends are starting their little ceremony at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, it's at the preserve.
The preserve, so it's across the street.
Okay, so
When people get done, they can go right over to Cello's event.
so you won't miss. You can see it from the preserve. You won't miss the first half hour of the performance since the walk is till 11:30.
The tree planting ceremony and everything is at noon to 12:30.
Okay.
Yeah, and initially, Marianne wanted to do it on the 30th, but something came up and she asked if we could make a full day of Earth Day events for the borough.
Okay.
Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. Eight N, a call for a motion to grant or deny a grievance regarding the denial of leave filed by the Morrisville Police Association.
Mr. Parker?
We have to amend this.
Yeah, can I suggest amending it to call for motion to deny grievance?
Well, you can just make a motion to deny. You don't need to read the exact, how it's written as an agenda item.
This is a call for motion to grant or deny. I don't want to make a
I understand, yeah.
Oh.
Just make the motion to deny. is what I'm saying.
Okay, I'll make a motion to deny the grievance regarding denial of leave.
Second.
We're good. Okay. We're back on track. So the motion is to deny the grievance. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Me.
What's that, 6-1?
Motion
Is that
passes
Scott?
That's Scott.
Okay,
6-1.
thank you.
Okay. 8O, call for a motion to,
You're calling for the motion. This is just the agenda item.
Okay.
When the person makes the motion, they will decide if they're making a motion to grant or deny.
okay, call for a motion to grant or deny the grievance regarding medical opt-out filed by the Morrisville Police Association.
So moved. I'm sorry, deny.
We have a motion to deny.
Motion to deny.
We have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second to deny the grievance. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
All right, motion passes 6-1. Item 8P is being removed from the agenda for further consideration by council. So 8P will now, where the hell are we? 8Q, this thing's a hot mess. Call for a motion to donate 6 10-year-old out-of-service bulletproof vests to Falls Police Department, who are sending them to Ukraine for protection of soldiers.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second. Discussion? All right. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Go ahead.
May I ask one question real quick? I know the vote went by. George, is there anything else down there that we can donate besides used vests that we're not using? No? Okay.
No old M1s?
And real quick, I just wanted to thank Helen and Chief and everyone else that made this happen so fastly. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, George, for getting it done.
Thank you.
Just for everyone's knowledge, though, those vests are going directly to the front line. There are planes that are taking them into Warsaw and then over into Ukraine.
Judith?
I just wanted to make sure that
Yes. Okay. So we made a motion to amend the agenda to add a motion. And I'm going to read that motion and then we'll open it for public comment. So the motion will be motion to waive the Morrisville Little League fees for the 2020 season and to allow Morrisville Little League to pay its remaining 2021 fees by June 30th.
So moved.
Second.
All right. We have a motion and a second. We're going to open that up to any public comment anybody has, since it's a new item on the agenda. All right. You want to come up? Okay.
I just want to say I really appreciate Borough Council's willingness to communicate with me on this, and I'm looking forward to a much more improved relationship and communication in the years to come. So thank you guys very much for consideration tonight.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Opposed.
All right. Motion passes 6-1. All right, that's the end of our action items. We're going to move on to council committee, boards, and commission appointments. Library Board, 1 3-year appointment to expire on March 18th, 2025. There's a letter of interest from Bruce Stevens, who is seeking reappointment.
I'd like to make that nomination, please.
I'll second it.
We have a nomination and a second for Bruce Stevens. Do we have any other nominations?
You never had.
I think you need a second for this. That's okay.
Do we have any other nominations? Last time, any other nominations? All right, hearing none. Nominations are closed. So, all in favor of Bruce Stevens being reappointed to the Morrisville Library Board? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, Mr. Stevens.
Did we get that letter of interest in our delivery?
Friday's delivery, yes.
Fridays? Okay.
Okay. We have another appointment to the Morrisville Library Board. It's a 1 3-year appointment to expire on March 18th, 2025. There's a letter of interest from Constance Beadle for reappointment.
Motion. I will.
You're nominating?
Constance Beadle. Yes.
Second.
All right, we have a motion to nominate Constance Beadle for the board opening. Do we have any other nominations? Do we have any other? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, Ms. Beadle. We have an appointment to the Morrisville Environmental Advisory Council. It's a 1 retroactive 3-year appointment to expire on December 16th, 2024. We have a letter of interest from Joshua Kuntz for reappointment.
So moved. Or I'm sorry, I want to nominate him with explanation.
If that needs a second, I'll second it.
Okay.
We missed Josh tonight, too.
Yeah, right? I noticed that too.
Mr. Parker,
Yes.
what does retroactive mean in this context? How can someone be appointed retroactively?
Well, my question also is at the top of his letter, it states, term is not up until 3/23. So is there really a term? I mean.
There was a mix-up with the term of when it ended and when it began. So once it was reviewed and realized that there was a mix-up with the term, we had him put in another email just stating that he was still interested, and we took his very first application and
Okay.
put them together and said, we would like to rectify this, and that's what we're trying to do.
So when he was appointed, some 7 months ago or whatever?
He wasn't actually. He was not appointed. He applied, but he wasn't appointed at the time, yes.
Are we sure about that? I thought I remember saying
was he-
congratulations.
He had a 6-month appointment. He was finishing out some of these.
Yes.
Okay.
He was finishing out Steve's term when he lost.
Okay.
That's-
Thank you.
And there was he was appointed, his date ended in December.
Okay.
And he asked for reappointment, and it was confused, the wrong date was fixed to that.
Thank you.
And it was because he was filling someone else's term that the date was misunderstood.
I knew it was short, but I didn't know how short, but.
Thank you all for
That's
your
very
understanding
short.
with this. I'm glad it's getting rectified.
Scott, the wording is,
You're just appointing to a term that ends.
12/16, exactly. Yeah, we don't need the
Yeah,
retroactive
he's,
thing.
yeah, with the,
That's too metaphysical.
yeah.
okay.
We'll leave it at that.
All right. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, Joshua. All right, we're moving on to 9, unfinished business. We have any? No? Okay. Moving on to 10, new business.
I have some things.
Okay.
I have been talking to a lot of organizations, and so I'm going to need council's consensus that I can work with Judith, the borough manager, in order to get some letters out. I have 6 corporations that are willing to donate to get the Manor Park Playground redone. I'm not going to mention their names in case it does not work out. However, they do need proposals and a letter, coming from the borough manager stating exactly what's going on. Once that letter, I'll work with Judith if council agrees. I'll put together the costs and what the new playground would probably be. I have someone who's willing to donate all the fill. I have someone who's willing to tear the playground down. I have someone who has promised to help build it, and I have commitments of money, but I don't have dollar amounts. So that's all things that have to be worked out, and I need the borough manager to do that. So does anyone have any issues if I work with Judith?
Wouldn't that also be working with the Parks and Recreation Committee?
I don't know.
Do we have some direction on this?
Be working through this,
At this point, it's not really doing anything. It's getting the letters and telling the organizations that this is a legitimate thing and not some wackadoodle who called.
I think it would come through because we're working through a long-term and short-term plan, and I think that would be part of the short-term plan is and for us to understand more about it. Am I off base here, or?
It's replacing equipment that's already there. I don't know. I can work with the borough manager to figure out where it needs to go from that point. I'm just asking for consensus to get these letters out. How it goes going forward, it can be a further discussion.
I would agree to get the letters out, of course, on borough letterhead with Judith's signature. I think it should be.
Yeah, that's what I'm asking.
Yeah. I had to discuss this evening, the equipment that's up there, I was told that it needed to come down like immediately from our insurance company. So my question tonight was, when was that going to be coming down? But now I'm hearing that that's a possibility Whether that's sooner than later, I don't know.
So do I have a consensus?
So for tonight's purposes and the idea of just getting the letters out, getting the interest that, yes, the borough is looking for help in these cases, a consensus tonight is fine. That is something that they can work then, Judith, yourself, and can work through the Parks and Rec Committee combining to get all the information compiled to present to council. Letters going out tonight, yeah, we just need a consensus, but bringing back the next step in agreeing to terms with people, go through the Parks and Rec Board, and then to this body would be the procedure.
Right.
It's basically when you're talking to higher ups at different places like Helen has been doing, and they say, yes, we'll help, but we need something in writing. So this is basically Judith providing something in writing to get it done, and we get just.
No, Scott, I totally understand. I did that for a living for 40 years, so I get what you're asking. I just want us to make sure we're all on the same plane. So thank you very much. I think that's a great idea.
All right.
I have some more things.
Can I go back to that for just a second? I have a question about.
I have the floor.
The question is to you, Helen. I want to make sure that where that would go, like there's a sinking issue down there. So the idea that we're going to put something new up there.
I just need letters of proposal, and then it can start getting worked out as to where the equipment's going, what equipment is getting bought. I'm just asking for a consensus to get letters out so that the organizations who have spoken to me and have committed to me can proceed forward, because they then need to take this letter to their higher ups in order to get it going. I don't want to sit here with 6 corporations who have said yes, that they're going to then say no because we're mired in our own mud.
Agreed.
All right. Is there a consensus? Anybody opposed?
Oh, no, I just want to make sure that, it's a viable place.
Any contact with the borough manager needs to be CC'd to me. And then anything that I think is relevant that should go to the Parks and Recreation Committee will. But working with the manager and directing the manager to do things are 2 different things. That will come from me. So you and I will be working hand in hand.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So
your other item, go ahead.
Yeah, so the other thing is I also got an organization who will donate 3 picnic tables. One of them is going to go down to Manor Park, and 2 of them are going to go into the field next door to the dog park. I also talked to yet another corporation, and they are willing to fund a truck enforcement officer for us. And in addition to that, they are willing to replace that solar speed limit sign that is out because of lack of batteries. So I, again, will need to work with Ted and Judith in order to get the proposal out to this organization so that we could start that in motion. In addition to that, we're going to need to know what the status of the police van was that was given to Public Works, because we probably will need that back if we get the truck enforcement officer and all the equipment that was inside of that police van. Do I have that consensus?
I think the chief left. I thought we should have his take on this.
I think
there was one stipulation made by that organization, and that stipulation would be that this would be a truck enforcement position and not a officer that would get pulled off of truck enforcement.
And they would be an employee of Morrisville.
I don't have any of those details. That's why I am asking for consensus for Judith.
What are your thoughts about this position?
It's just a consensus for Judith to talk to the company, not
Would you
to.
please tell us what this is about?
At this time, I believe Helen's just asking for
the
allowability for me to discuss the issues with the companies to see what they'd be willing to do.
Anybody have an objection to that?
I don't have any. I don't have any process or even the thought of how they would become an employee or any of that at this point. I'm just hearing about all of this too.
Yeah, I don't have anything. It's just, it was a conversation that I had. They're willing to help us, and I need a consensus to work with Judith.
I don't understand what a consensus is. Either we take official action as a resolution. What is a consensus?
Well,
I'm serious.
Well, the consensus is everybody's okay with it, so that she can work with me and Judith to put out letters to feel.
But can't she do that without approval from this council?
No.
Not of the borough manager.
Then I think we should do a resolution, then I think we should go all the way to resolution. This consensus
Motion, you
thing
mean?
bothers me because it's informal. So we're authorizing, but it's not real authority. I don't understand the status of it. Could you explain that?
Yeah, here's what we're doing. We're not really taking official action. Basically, what you're doing is Ms. Halaho's brought something to attention to the council that can be done or something that people's interested in. Basically, now it's you're giving direction to the borough manager now to work to investigate these items. It's not an official action in the sense that you need a formal vote. It's just the idea that this is something you want to pursue and want to have the borough manager pursue with the help of some of the council members. It's just the idea that you're interested in this and let's have the borough manager investigate further.
Isn't the borough manager authorized to do that even without special authority in this instance?
No, I cannot take direction from one council person. It has to be a consensus of all of you.
Oh, well, I'm not suggesting taking direction. You could do it on your sua sponte.
I could.
Yes, but we're now getting into some policy decisions where there will be a council
Okay,
vote.
because I have a problem. I think it's great that Helen's out there trying to do this to help the community with the parks. But I do have a problem that we're undermining the committee's structure. I think it's great that you're doing this, but I think you should do it in coordination with the Parks Committee. Why do we have individuals going in one direction and committees going in a different direction? I think that undermines the organization and the efficiency of this organization. But I could be wrong. Does anyone else? Any other thoughts?
No, I agree.
Go ahead.
I agree with you. I think that's why we have the committees in place, is that we can work together. I don't have a problem with, going to Judith with all this. I think it's a great idea, but I think overall it should come through the committees that we set up. That's my take on it.
I just want John Lader involved when we place the picnic benches, because I don't know how we're going to have to secure them to the ground somehow. But I think that's very generous. I'm happy about it. Okay, well, we're just finding out, so.
We shouldn't be accepting donations without a council vote anyway.
Right.
I know it has happened in the past, but it shouldn't be anyway, so.
So where are we with this?
We're just
moving forward, right?
Is there anything else?
That's it? We're done? I mean, as far as the consensus goes.
Helen, anything else?
No.
Okay. Anybody else? All right. Borough officials.
I just want to do a shout out to John Lader. I requested to get those telephone poles off the sidewalks, especially near the tower, and it was done, and it looks great. And thank you so much for making that happen.
Anyone else?
I do have just a quick announcement. At the last meeting, the chief mentioned that he was in need of crossing guards, which we know desperately, because when they don't show up or can't make it, our police officers are there, and that's unattainable. The book sale, you mentioned that it goes till April 30th. And regarding the mural project, there was a meeting with the Morrisville Coalition community, and there is $6,000 for to start the mural project, and businesses have been contacted, and they're willing to move forward. But that's where it is right now. So when there's more to announce or what they're going to do first, I'll let you know.
Anybody else?
I think that's yes. Are you announcing the positions available?
And we have to get that switched next time. Announcements. The Environmental Advisory Council has a 3-year appointment, which expires on December 16th, 2024. That's open. If anyone's interested, please put in a letter of interest. The Planning Commission has 1 full-year appointment, which expires on December 31st, 2025. A letter of interest is required as well. And then the Library Board has 1 position for a remaining 2 years of a 3-year term, which expires on March 1st, 2024. Is that a second?
Yes.
And then there's a second a position that's open for one 3-year term that expires on March 18th,
This year.
25. So if anyone's interested in being on the library board, please submit a letter of interest. And that's all the announcements. So we're going to move to adjournment. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. Good night, everyone.
See, Ted. I don't know where